This section is entitled A New Era.
And would you care to hand me a cough drop, please?
Oh, really?
Yeah. When you talk that much, it dries your neck out.
Oh, really?
He knows that. He always does it. I told him I would help him. And it dries your neck out for sure. Get me this sip.
Hmm. That's why every break, I don't take one. I don't take a drink in between, but whenever I'm in a break like this, I take a drink.
Okay. This is called the new era. And I heard great voice out of heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle of God is with man, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and God himself shall be with them and be their God. And God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. Revelations 21:3 and 4.
The McGee's Absurdist translation is
And I heard a great voice out of the throne saying, Behold, the tabernacle of God is with men, and he shall tabernacle with them, and they shall be his people, and God himself shall be with them, and be their God, and God shall wipe away every tear from their eyes, and death shall be no more, neither shall there be mourning, nor crying, nor pain any more. The first things are passed away.
you skipped over the Greek word for tabernacle, skene.
Oh, skene, I'm sorry. Skene or tent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Tabernacle is skene or tent. All right. I didn't know how to say it. I was going to be like, see, it's skene.
You just skipped over.
I just ignored
the
it.
whole thing.
Yeah. Behold, the tabernacle or skene or tent of God is with men. What is that tent? We're told by John in John 1 and verse 14, and the word was made flesh and dwelt, pitched his tent among us. That flesh was crucified on the cross, and he was raised in a glorified body. We too are going to have a glorified bodies, and we're going to live with him in the New Jerusalem. The golden street is not really important. What difference does it make what kind of asphalt you walk on? It's important to know the psychological and spiritual values that will be there. They shall be his peoples, and God himself shall be with them and be their God. Certain things that definitely are prominent today are going to be removed. God shall wipe away every tear from their eye. A columnist years ago wrote, For every light that burns on Broadway, there is a broken heart. Several times my wife and I have driven up to the Hollywood Hills and have looked down out on the blanket of light, which is the Hollywood. I've said to my wife, for every light down there, there's a broken heart. There, there is many a sad and lonely person in the world. In the New Jerusalem, there are not going to be any more tears. Isn't that wonderful, y'all? Death shall be no more. That's going to be a very marvelous improvement. Since you begin reading this chapter, a number of funeral processions probably have taken place. People are dying all the time. There is a continual march to the cemetery. I just lost my mom a couple of weeks ago, and our funeral home is about 2 hours, 2.5 hours away. And
You mean the graveyard?
The graveyard, yes, I'm sorry, not the funeral home. And there was a bunch of us that went all the way up. It takes a long time to get there, and it's really a spiritual thing when your family digs the grave, buries someone, and covers them up. It's the last thing you can do for them here. But all this is just so wonderful, and I know my mom and my dad and all of their family are rejoicing with Jesus. There's a continual march to the cemetery. This earth is nothing in the world but a cemetery. I once knew an engineer who, in early days, had a great deal to do with the planning and plotting of the great freeways which crisscross this country today. I asked him, Is this going to be over the mountains or down through the valleys or crossing the river? That's the biggest problem for you. He replied, The big problem is missing the cemeteries. Wow, I never thought of that. This earth is a great cemetery. but all of it's going to end. There'll be no more ground, burying ground in the New Jerusalem. The undertaker will be out of business, even as the doctors are going to be out of business because there's not going to be any crying, neither shall be any more pain, for former things have passed away.
That concludes section verses 3 and 4. Now we're going to move on to section verse 5.
And he that sat upon the throne and said, Behold, I make all things new. And he said unto me, Write, for these words are true and faithful. Revelations 21:5.
The Megaeus Absurdus translation is,
And he that sitteth on the throne said, Behold, I make all things new. And he said, Write, for these words are faithful and true. He is going to make all things new. This is more meaningful to me than anything else. I don't know about you, but I've never really been satisfied with this life. I have found myself frustrated. I found myself hemmed in, and I've never been able to accomplish all I wanted to accomplish. Me either. I've never been the man I wanted to be. I've never been the husband I've wanted to be. I've never been the father I've wanted to be. I've never preached the sermon I've always wanted to preach. I just do not seem to have arrived. All accomplishments seem to have a blot on them. And that is J. Vernon McGinn, not me. But he says to me, as he says to you, I'm going to make all things new. You're going to be able to start over again. And I'm waiting for that day when all things are going to be new and I can start over. Have you ever stopped to think about the potential of starting out all over again, learning all over again, and never ceasing but going on into eternity? I have, and it's mind boggling. Oh, the potential and capability of a man. Yonder at the Tower of Babel, God said, I had better go down there, or nothing will be withheld from man. Genesis 11:5-7. It was very foolish for some scientists and preachers to say that man could not go to the moon. I think he's going farther than that. Man is clever, being what God has made. Death ends his potential down here, but with eternity ahead of him, oh, the prospect a saved man has. We see here the glorious prospect of all things made new. We can start over, and there will never be an end to our growth. Remember that Christ, it is shoot. Remember that of Christ it is said, of the increase of his government and peace there shall be no end. See Isaiah 9:7. There is a constant growth and development. Just think of the prospect that for the future. Someday I'm going to know something. Today I don't, but I will then.